Welcome!
One day, you begin to notice something important about your behavior, and it makes you stop and think for a moment. You talk a lot about your plans to learn English, and you tell many people what you want to achieve. You explain your goals, your ideas, and your dreams, but when you look at your actions, you see that they are still small. This realization feels a little uncomfortable, because you understand that talking is easy, but doing the work is harder. In that moment, you start to question if your words are really helping you move forward. As you think more about it, you begin to understand a simple but powerful truth. Words alone do not build results, and they do not improve your pronunciation or your confidence. You can speak about your plans many times, but your English will not change without real practice. What truly creates progress is action, even if the action is small and simple. This idea begins to change your perspective, because now you see that effort matters more than explanation. You realize that your time is better used practicing than talking about practicing. This becomes a turning point in your journey, because you decide to change your behavior in a clear way. You choose to stop telling everyone about your plans and begin focusing on your actions instead. You no longer feel the need to explain what you will do in the future. Instead, you sit down and start working on your English in the present. You listen, repeat, read, and speak, even if no one is watching or asking about it. This decision gives you a new kind of focus that feels stronger and more real. At first, this change feels different, because you are used to sharing your ideas with others. Sometimes you feel the desire to tell someone about your progress or your goals. But you learn to stay focused on your practice and let your work grow step by step. You understand that real improvement takes time and does not need to be shown every day. This helps you stay calm and consistent, because your attention is now on learning, not on talking. Slowly, your routine becomes more stable and your effort becomes more honest. From that day on, something inside you becomes stronger, and your mindset begins to change. You understand that real focus comes from action, not from words. Your English does not improve because you talk about it, but because you practice it every day. This is where your true journey begins, because now you are building something real. You are no longer someone who only speaks about plans. You are someone who works quietly and moves forward step by step. After that decision, you begin to change the way you work on your English, and this new phase feels different from everything before. You stop talking about your plans and start practicing every day without showing it to others. You sit down with your materials and give your time to listening, repeating, reading, and speaking. No one asks you about it, and no one sees your effort, but you continue anyway. This makes your practice feel more real, because now it is only about you and your progress. You are no longer looking for attention, but for improvement. As the days pass, you begin to feel more comfortable working in this private way, and your focus becomes stronger. You train your pronunciation slowly, paying attention to sounds and small details that you ignored before. You listen more carefully and speak with more intention, even if your voice is still not perfect. Because you are not trying to impress anyone, you feel free to make mistakes and learn from them. This freedom helps you grow faster, because you are not afraid of being wrong. Your practice becomes more honest and more effective. Then comes a moment that tests your decision, and it feels like a small but important challenge in your journey. You start to notice some progress, and you feel the desire to show it to others and receive approval. You want to tell someone how much you improved or show a sentence that now sounds better. For a moment, this feeling becomes strong, and it almost pulls you away from your quiet routine. But then you stop and think about your real goal. You remember that growth matters more than attention, and you choose to continue your work without showing it. This choice becomes a light climax in your story, because it shows that your mindset is changing in a deeper way. You understand that looking like you are improving is not the same as truly improving. When you focus only on showing progress, your attention leaves the work and moves to other people. But when you focus on your practice, your energy stays where it should be. This helps you build something real, something that does not depend on approval or attention. Your English grows step by step, and your confidence becomes stronger in a natural way. After this moment, you begin to see that working in private gives you a different kind of strength. You are building your English without noise, without pressure, and without the need to explain yourself. Your pronunciation improves, your understanding grows, and your voice becomes more stable over time. You realize that true progress does not need to be announced, because it will appear naturally when the time is right. This is when you understand a powerful lesson. Growing is more important than looking like you are growing, and real results will always speak for you. After some time working in your own way, you begin to notice small changes that feel real and important, even if you do not talk about them. Your effort starts to show little by little, and you can feel it in simple moments of your day. A sentence that once felt difficult now sounds clearer when you say it. A word that confused you before now feels more familiar when you hear it. These changes are not big or dramatic, but they are strong because they come from your daily practice. You begin to trust that your work is creating something real. As the days continue, your pronunciation becomes better because you have repeated many sounds again and again with attention. Your voice feels more stable, and your words come out with less hesitation than before. You also begin to understand more when you listen, because your mind is now used to the rhythm of the language. When someone speaks, you can catch more meaning without stopping too much. This makes you feel more confident, even if your English is still simple. You see that progress is happening, even if it is not fast. Then something interesting begins to happen around you, and it surprises you a little. Other people start to notice small differences in the way you speak and understand English. Maybe someone asks you a simple question, and you answer more clearly than before. Maybe someone hears you speak and says that your pronunciation sounds better. You did not try to show your progress, but now it is becoming visible on its own. This moment feels important because it proves that your effort is real. This becomes a strong point in your journey, because now your English begins to speak for you. You do not need to explain your progress or talk about your plans anymore. Your actions have already created something that others can see and hear. This gives you a new kind of confidence, because it comes from real experience, not from words. You understand that true growth shows itself naturally over time. This changes the way you think about learning and progress. From this point on, you feel more connected to your journey, because now you can see the results of your effort. You continue practicing, not to show others, but because you know it is working for you. Your voice becomes stronger, your understanding becomes clearer, and your confidence continues to grow. You realize that when you focus on your work, results will come without the need to announce them. And this is when you truly understand that your English can speak for you in ways that words alone never could. After many days of practice, a real moment finally arrives, and it feels different from everything before. You are in a situation where you need to use English in a real way, not just in practice. Maybe someone asks you a question, or you need to ask for help, and there is no time to think too much. Your heart beats a little faster, because you know this moment matters. In the past, you would feel lost or afraid, but now you decide to try. You take a breath and begin to speak, even if your voice is not perfect. As the conversation continues, something surprising begins to happen inside you. You understand more than you expected, and your mind responds faster than before. You hear the words, connect the meaning, and answer with simple but clear sentences. You still make small mistakes, but they do not stop the conversation. The person understands you, and you understand them, and this creates a strong feeling of progress. This moment feels real because it shows you what you can do now. You are no longer only a learner, you are a speaker. This becomes the second strong climax of your journey, because now you see clear proof of your effort. All the days of listening, repeating, reading, and speaking come together in this moment. What once felt small now shows its real value. You understand that your practice was not wasted, even when it felt slow or difficult. Each repetition helped your mind and your voice grow stronger. This moment shows you that your effort created something real and useful in your life. As you continue, you begin to feel a new kind of confidence that comes from experience, not from imagination. You know now that you can face a real situation and continue, even if it is not perfect. Your pronunciation may still improve, and your vocabulary may still grow, but you are already able to communicate. This changes the way you see yourself, because you are no longer waiting to feel ready. You already stepped into a real moment and did your best, and that is enough to move forward. After this experience, you understand something very important about your journey. The work you did in private built real strength inside you, even if no one saw it at the time. You did not need to show your effort, because it prepared you for this exact moment. Now you see that true growth appears when it is needed, not when it is announced. This is when you truly believe in your process, because you live the result. And from this point on, you continue your path with more confidence, knowing that your effort will always support you. At the end of this journey, you begin to understand something that feels simple but very powerful in your life. You did not need to tell everyone about your plans or explain what you wanted to achieve. For a long time, you believed that talking about your goals would help you move forward. Now you see that your actions were always more important than your words. While you stayed focused on your practice, your English was growing step by step. This realization makes you feel proud, because your progress came from real effort. As you continue, you notice that your English improved in many small but important ways. Your pronunciation is clearer, and your words come out with more confidence than before. You understand more when you listen, and you respond faster in simple conversations. These changes did not happen in one moment, but they became real because you practiced every day. You stayed consistent even when no one was watching, and that made a difference. Now your voice feels stronger, and you trust it more. Other people also begin to notice something different about you, even if you do not talk about your journey. Someone may hear you speak and say that your English sounds better. Another person may see that you understand more and respond with more ease. You did not try to show your progress, but now it is visible on its own. This moment feels special because it proves that your effort created real change. You no longer need to explain your growth, because others can see it clearly. This becomes the final climax of your story, because now your results begin to speak for you in a natural way. You understand that real progress does not need to be announced or explained again and again. It appears through your actions, your voice, and your confidence. This gives you a new kind of strength, because it comes from truth, not from appearance. You learn that promises can sound good, but results create real impact. This lesson stays with you and changes the way you think about effort. From this point on, you carry a new understanding that will guide you in many parts of your life. You know that speaking less about plans and doing more work brings better results over time. Your English continues to grow, your confidence continues to rise, and your voice becomes more natural. You feel ready to face new situations because you trust your process. And in the end, you truly understand that results will always speak louder than promises, because they are built with action and consistency.